So, you see, the one who is who is in control of how our minds are molded, the one who has the final say about how our mind is going to be formed is you, all of us. But it is patterned in how we think. In other words, the size of our body is because of how we eat, but the contour of our mind, the process of how our mind can work, is how we think. And it always starts from our heart. Because there has to be an agreement in everything, in who we become. I'm going to explain that in the next few slides. But we need to still have the principle and agree that as we think in our heart, in other words, what our heart says, our mind will agree. That is something very, very important. We need to understand that. Because the way our emotion is, the way we are attached to, the way we're easily persuaded, the way, the way we are, we function because of how we were brought up, or how we have been infiltrated or molded by circumstances or people, is the condition of our heart. And our heart has a lot to do about how we program our mind. When you say, oh, I really love bread, or I really love ice cream, something, what your heart has declared, your mind is going to be programmed that every time you see ice cream, you're going to be hungry for ice cream. Or when you see something red, it's going to just, give you an electrical impulse all over your body to give you, to give you all the attention, about this red, whatever that may be. So I want to, at the premise, the Bible says already, but as he thinks in his heart, so is he. So the one who's totally responsible for the health of our mind, the contour of our thinking, is our heart, is ourself. Wicked thoughts is an epidemic. I'm telling you, wicked thoughts is an epidemic. We watch what we eat, we put extra time how we dress up, but we never, ever, ever remind ourselves who's talking to us, what are we listening to, what are we agreeing to. And one of the number one builder of the one that shapes the mindset of our children and mindset of ours is our television, the radio, what we hear in the news. Because when we sit down, you don't realize it, that when we sat down in front of the TV, you're exhausted, you're just tired, or arguing at work, or physically working at work. You go home and you kick your shoes and you sit down and you turn on the TV, or turn on, listen to your friends, because you're tired. You don't care what they're going to say anyway. You don't really agree, or you don't want to disagree, but you just sit there. In other words, you have become a sitting duck. You are now saying to the enemy or the television, okay, you go ahead, shoot me. That's really what it is, especially when you're exhausted, especially when you're tired, or you're just going to be politically correct, or you are babait, so anyway, people are gossiping, talking about bad things, talking about bad jokes. You sit down there, and you're allowing your brain to be contaminated. And we wonder why we have a lot of depression. We wonder why we have a lot of negative thinking. Because wicked thoughts is an epidemic, it's a toxic emotion. 75 to 95% of illness that plagues us today are a direct result of our thought life. That's important. Average person, can you imagine, have 30,000 thoughts a day? And in other words, what are those thoughts? Maybe somebody, put the idea in your mind, maybe what you read, maybe what you heard on television. You know what, listen to me. Although we do not believe in adultery, but we're watching a television that commits adultery because it's a part of the television show. It's a part of the story. At that very moment, the windows of our heart is open because we want to flow with the news, with the story. Or the window of our heart is open when our friends are gossiping or talking against their bosses. The spirit of gossip and the spirit of false witness has now crept into our heart. And our hearts are now molded to something that we wonder why we're acting up like we're thinking like that. We just allow a thought. You see, as a nurse, and some of you there, understand this, that, when you walk into a room of a TB patient, the whole contamination of that air, that room, is with that, infection. And you cannot say that you will not be contaminated because, anyway, you're healthy, but the air that you breathe. In the spiritual realm, there is a contamination too. You sit down with the spirit of gossip, with the spirit of unforgiveness, with the spirit of negativity. Without you knowing it, you have just been infiltrated in your thought life, and your heart is being formed. And that heart is going to trigger what your mind is going to think about you. What we think about is affect us physically and emotionally. But it is very important that if you do not control your thought life, we will get ourselves sick. So we need to brain detox. We need to control our thought life. We need to accept it or reject it. Don't let it just flow. Because if you don't make decisions, the enemy will make decisions for you. In other words, when there is a situation that's happening in front of you, you're going to say, no, that's wrong. That's not according to the Word of God. I rebuke that. I do not receive that. You know what? Every time I watch TV now here in America, we watch the news. And you know what, in my heart, I said, Lord, I rebuke that. That is not your truth. In the name of Jesus, I overrule. You know what? We need to be actively participating in conversation. We cannot just be politically correct so we can look nice and feel good. And our children are the same way. We have a lot of youth today turning on their gadgets. They're allowing whatever that is, to control their mind, to keep their mind busy. They listen to their mother and father complain. They're teaching them something different, but they're acting something different. The children are watching, and they do not have something that is firm, that is stable, that is the principles. And so our children are going through all this. I really believe it has a lot to do right now too about the information is being passed very fast. There's just so many activities. You put your finger and. Yes, it's just a game, but I'm telling you, it is molding your brain. Very important. If pornography today is changing the contour, it's now proven, the contour of the brain of those who watches it. In other words, the formation, the anatomy of the brain can be seen in the CT scan, in a brain scan, by people who watch pornography as a routine. This is very important. The passage of all these chemicals goes to the brain. It's going to add a passage like a tire mark that's constantly going to be seen, in a brain that has been deformed or violated because of pornography. So the same thing with your thoughts. So contaminated air, we have, we watch our contaminated drink, but our contaminated thoughts, we don't think that's true. But there is a spiritual contamination. It is what we call familiar spirits. It is who you hang around with. And sometimes, you wonder, why did I think that? Why did I think that? We just got contaminated with a contaminated thought. And sound mind is a promise that God has given us. You see, a sound mind, a balanced mind, a healthy mind is a provision of the finished work. In other words, Jesus Christ hung on the cross for how many hours? The longest that Jesus stayed on the cross. Why? Because there was a battle of the mind. He hung the cross on a hill called the skull. You understand that? It is the form of a skull. When you go to the promised land, you're going to see this hill that is a form of a skull. And the Lord just spoke to me one day. He said, it's because I paid a provision for a troubled mind. For how many hours Jesus fought mentally for you and me. In other words, that has been paid as a price of the provision of the finished work. He hung on the cross because it was intentional and precise. He wants to be, he addressed every issue of the mind, every issue of the confused mind. He has given us, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. Now let's talk about these three things. One of the biggest enemy of the Christian is that they fear what? They fear death. They fear the one who controls death once upon a time. But Satan doesn't control death now. Jesus already authored it. He is now, his name is on it, and we are not afraid to die. So if we go in the dark room, we go into, once upon a time, before we became Christian, of course, I feared darkness. But Jesus confronted darkness. And God is saying, what is the worst thing that can happen to you? When you die, you're going to see me. This is very important. God didn't give us a fear, but he gave us the very important. You see, that there is a spirit of fear. It's not just fear, it's a spirit of fear. It's authored by the evil one himself. But he gave us power and love and sound mind. Those three things has to come together. A sound mind is very important. God is going to let us understand He has given us the power. In other words, we have participated in the victory of the resurrected life. We have participated in the power, of His indestructible life. We also have participated in His love because He poured His love for us. And that power and that love will always give us sound mind. Our confused mind, our worried mind, our negative mind, if we're going to remember and allow His love to be poured, allow His power, the power of the Calvary to be poured over us, God is going to say, your mind will stay in me. The scripture says that your mind will stay in Him. In other words, let's go back and think about what Jesus has done, about the love of the Father towards us, and the power that broke every possible enemy in our life, the power of an indestructible life, the power of His resurrection. Every thought has consequences. In other words, there's no thought that stays in your brain rent-free. If you're going to allow a thought up, sundown, that's why sundown is a very important demarcation line for all of us. Do not bring bitterness. Do not bring any offense. Do not bring any unforgiveness when you go to sleep. Settle it. Or when you have something in your mind, you need to, before you go to sleep, you're going to read the Word and you're going to believe the Word and reject what your thought is thinking. This is important. You need to come to the place that, you know what, this is what they say, this is what I think, but Father, what does your Word say? Because you cannot allow any evil thoughts to come into your mind at sundown, because sundown starts darkness. And darkness is the place where the enemy is going to work, and there is going to be roots that's going to dig deep into your heart, and it is going not only to contaminate you, but contaminate everyone around you, the Bible says. The root of bitterness. Guys, you need to read that in your Bible. The root of bitterness, and there's a root that goes deep. You will look good, you smell good, but I'm telling you, this rottenness that's happening inside our youth, inside our children, because there's something that they're hanging on. That's why parents have to, every once in a while before they go to sleep, especially young kids, you need to talk to them about what they're thinking, what's happening for the day, what are the things that worries them, anything that they want to talk about. And it has to be open, because if they go to sleep and they hang around with it and they carry it with them, that is very hard. The spiritual realm, there's going to be an instantaneous, open doors for the enemy to creep into the heart. The people drop, but it will ripple and everything that manifests around you. In other words, it will always vibrate. You see, the altitude will give you the attitude of the children. Our children will give us the altitude. In other words, our children can soar. We can soar. We can walk like, on clouds and have that joy in our heart that nothing is going to pull us down, because our thoughts are being addressed. Number 5, beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health just as your soul prospers. This is very important. A lot of Christians, sometimes, we pray. And we always need to understand what is the equation that God has said. 6 days you shall work, you see, and on the 7th day you shall rest. A lot of people keep praying, but they are not doing exercising. A lot of people want that, but they're not working. They just keep praying, and hoping that God is going to bless them. God says you go work, and then you're going to rest. This is an equation that we need to understand. The lazy man has always an understanding of reversing that equation that God has given us. God has created us to be a spirit, that we have a soul, and we live in the body. That's very important. We need to have healthy exercise. We need to have some habits that is going to free us from the burden of our thought. You know what? When I get, I still have so many issues on my desk. That's when I go gardening. That's when I want to go plant. That's when, I want to redecorate my house. I mean, we need to do something to stay away. We cannot just sitting down because we cannot solve our problems by worrying. That's why children who are depressed, they need to be active. They need to do something. They need to go volunteer. They need to have a disciplined life. They need to wake up a certain time. They need to, there has to be a strategy in every home, in our lives, that it's not just for us, to sit down and watch television and then wait for the afternoon and have merienda and then have another dinner and go to sleep. That's not going to cut it. That is not going to bring health to your body. That's it. I want your body to be healthy. I want your soul to be healthy because your spirit is already healthy. Because when you accepted me into your life, I already took care of that area. Now your job is, your job is you need to take care of the temple of the Holy Spirit. You need to eat right, you need to exercise, you need to think right, you need to have the right people, the right conversation, you need to have healthy people. You need to ask yourself, who are you hanging around with? If you're hanging around with, if our children are hanging around with negative people or hearing around their mere mother and father complaining about their bills, complaining about it is, listen, it's not the children do not have to be participating on the responsibility of the parents. The parents we have asked God to give us children, and we are supposed to be responsible for taking care of our children. Our children does not have to hear about, wala naman tayong pera. Yes, they're going to need, you need to save money because mommy and daddy doesn't want you to waste money. But we're not going to say, oh, you know what, we're not taking trabajo, or I'm not going to say. We need, this is so important. A lot of the children, they will have their time one day. When they get married, they're going to worry about their budget. And then they're going to feel bad that they're part of the burden of the family. Now, of course, when they already finished college, they need to be participating in the economy of the home. But you know what, they're teenagers, they're still under a roof, we're still educating them. They should not be feeling guilty about being a child. And this is what they always tell the parents, is that, it's not, they never volunteer to come out. You wanted to have children. And so, you need to have a healthy conversation. And, one day, of course, 18 years old, they can go to work. But when they're a little kid, they cannot, solve the problem of this problem for the adult. They should just be like kids. But this is so important. Anyway, so this body, soul, and spirit. The Bible says, if you're going to prosper in everything, maybe when we have been asking the Lord to bless us, and waiting for the spiritual breakthrough, God says, but you know what, you're not exercising. You know what, God, I want you to, make me feel good, but you're not dressing up. You're not even taking a shower. You're not making yourself look good. You're looking depressed all the time. And heaven will watch us, and I'm also depressed watching you. You see, we need to participate. Our body and our soul and our spirit has to synchronize. And then God says, and then you will prosper. See, your health is going to prosper, your soul is going to prosper, and in all things you will prosper. This is something that we need to sit down with our youth. They need to have sport. They need to have a healthy relationship. They need to have friends. They need to, maybe this is a time for us to go on vacation, simple vacation. You don't have to spend a lot of money. But there has to be that they need to know that there is a family unity, that there is a place where they can lean on. Throw away, please, every single gadget of a child that is confused. They do not need the internet. They do not need, this iPhone. They do not need it. Their soul right now is in trouble. A lot that needs discussion, conversation. I'm telling you, this is important. And it's so funny. We have a lot of kids who have been depressed now. They give them all these gadgets, and they're alone in the room watching what? Attacking their brains and attacking their thought life. That is important. And let them, don't watch, there's nothing good in television anymore. You need to pick some good movies or good books. Please read. Every one of us should be reading books. I mean, really, if you read it again. I mean, a leader is a reader. A leader is a reader. Our children will become leaders when they read. And as young as they are, they need to have a habit that they are going to be able to do, so they do not have to sit down in the corner and feel sorry for themselves. They have to be, all of us, I'm talking to myself, we need to be readers. I like not only to read the Bible through the year, but I like to read, other books. There are things that I love to read books. We need to have at least to read 12 books a year. I mean, read those things, healthy books. Anyway, that should be true for our children. We need to have emergency intervention. What I call a brain dead talks, and you guys already have this, I think, before. There is always a danger. Danger, you need to put a sign. Danger. Don't you even think. Don't you even try to say it. Could have, would have, should have. These are the things I believe that Christians should not be saying, well, I wish I could have done it. I mean, I should do that. But you know what? They do it. There are things that we need to pick out from our vocabulary because these are the words that we're putting, and our hearts are being molded, and our heart is, sending, notice to our brain. We need to have this warning in our minds, in our heart. Maybe you should write it down. Yeah, you need to remove if only. Yeah, kasi yan, mabuti sa kanya, hindi sa akin. That's not good. It cannot be part of your vocabulary. And a lot of people say, you're already, whatever, you're 68 years old, whatever it is. You know what? You do not give anyone permission to predict your future. Very important. You cannot give anyone the right. A lot of our friends have the right intentions, but they give us wrong direction. We need to, and they say that, somebody has been inviting me, I said, listen to me. I already know what I want. The Lord has already told me, you are not going to derail me. You're not going to invite me going anywhere, doing another business, because God already gave me an instruction, and I'm not going to be derailed. Very important. So, we become false prophets. We're the one that speculate. We're the one that predicts. We're the one that even we think we can predict our future. We need to decide that we're not going to listen to our false prophet friends either. We need to read. I am very careful about the people that I hang around for a short time for other people, but when I sit down with other people, it has to be something that is going to connect with my vibration, or else I will not have any conversation. That is important. We have fake news. You know what? We really need to be honest to ourselves. We need to be honest. We're the very first audience to our own self. We cannot just be giving all this fake news, and we are going to make ourselves believe, you know what, hindi po yan kaya, o yun lang talaga po, kasi, I don't know if I have not talked Tagalog for a long time, but you see, I'm always going to be poor, I'm never going to finish. I mean, come on. We are giving fake news to what God has already said. Our children also need to be trained to do that. We have, as I said before, we have a passive mind. We sit down and watch a television and we say, just shoot me, entertain me. I am telling you, by the time you sit down on your television, you're already exhausted. You don't even want to fight. Your mind is already shut down. And that is the most dangerous time for you to watch television or the news. Because that is the time the news is going to tell you all of this fake news and you're going to receive it. Anyway, politically correct, we're going through the motion, but we're not really committed. Guys, do not be a liar to yourself. Do not say, well, I'm going to do it, or I'm going to show up and you don't do it. You know what's happening? You're reprogramming, you're programming your mind to be a false prophet, or to be, a person that will say this, and the mind will say, you know what? He said he's going to show up, he's not going to show up. So now the mind has already been brainwashed that, you know what, every time you say that, the mind already knows that that's how your heart is. You know what, I'm not going to gossip anymore, but you still gossip. No, you know what, the next time you're going to say that, the one who's in opposition to you is your mind. That's not going to happen because you did it over and over. This is how she programs me. And I am not going to be able to change because I do not have a track record. You see? So guys, this is so important. If any one of you listening today only have 15 to 20 years, we do not have time to waste to change our mindset. We do not have any time to waste to reprogram the contour of our brain. You see, we have identity theft. My arthritis, that's not yours. God didn't give that to you. My multiple sclerosis, or my heart problem, my headache, or I have a flu. God did not give that to us. Our children the same way have to be trained that they are not a loser. They are not, a waste of time. They're not a failure. Those are the things we need to practice in their mindset. And then we have a false humility. Nothing is right for me. I'm really very shy. I mean, come on. Those are the things that we need to remove from our vocabulary. And that is how we keep our healthy mind. I really wish that we are going to be able to train this in our youth, train this in our grade school. I'm telling you, because we need to win this war of this confusing mind. We need to win this war. And it is happening in our churches, happening in Christian homes, and we need to fight it because it is a spiritual contamination, just like it is contamination in the all these communicable diseases in the natural. Number 7, complaining about how much money they're spending, how much, wala na silang pera, you know what I mean? This is the hurt. Hurt is the one that Hurt is the one that starts to creep into the depression of our children and depression of adults. I'm telling you, they are offended. You see? Nevertheless, do not rejoice in this, that God says. But there's something more important that you should be rejoicing. That the spirits are subject to you. But rather rejoice, because your names are written in heaven. Now, in other words, every day or every often, we need to remind our children and we need to allow our children to accept the Lord Jesus Christ. And that should be a reason to rejoice. If any one of you today is depressed, God is saying to you, you're not remembering what I promised. I saved you, and your name is written in the Lamb's Book of Life. There should not be a day in your life that you will be depressed all day because if you will not listen to news that you name. In other words, every time there's a depression, rejoice, because your name is written in the Lamb's Book of Life. In other words, what Jesus is saying to us, this is an antidote to all your hurt. This is an antidote to all your oppression and the bullying. That's why we need to teach our children the gift and the big news of being saved. A lot of children today just are so happy because they accepted Jesus into their lives, but they don't realize how much Jesus paid because of how much they did. We are not talking about the 10 Commandments anymore. Why did you get saved? Why are you rejoicing? Because nobody told you that this. You know, you have talked against people, you have gossiped against people, you have thought of adultery in your mind even if you did not do it, you have wanted to kill somebody, insult somebody. A lot of us are pretending that, we come and know the Lord Jesus Christ because we are so nice kids, and we're doing God a favor that we join the church. We need to understand that these children need to understand that because of God's love for us, that we are so full of sin, our minds are so crooked, and we are so evil, that He came and changed our lives. And that's why when the children know that, they will never be pretending that they're better than anyone. Because we know that all of us are sinners, we're sinners saved by grace. This is so important. Every time a Christian is going to feel better than anyone, it's because he's forgetting about the cost of salvation. Psalm 119, verse 155. It says, great peace. I have two translations here. Great peace have those who love your law. Peace comes with knowing the commandment. You see, and nothing causes them to stumble. And the other translation is, they that love His law, nothing shall offend them. This is very important. In other words, our children today are being very sensitive. I know yung sinabi mo sa akin, I heard talaga ako. But you know why? You're not reading the Bible. You're not reading the law. You're not memorizing scripture. You're not loving the 10 Commandments. A lot of Christians, I'm telling you, who are always offended, you understand, because they did not take the shower. When your attitude really stinks. You know why? Because you did not take a shower. In other words, you did not wash with the washing of the water of the Word. Every Christian today have to read the scripture, have to read their Bible, so they will not be offended. Every Christian today, every time they get offended, they will say, have you been reading your Bible? Have you been memorizing? Have you loved the Word? Have you been swimming in the Word? Because that's a sign that you are not reading the Bible. You are not memorizing scripture. You are not teaching the 10 Commandments. That's why you're always offended all the time. Our children are strengthened, not because they have a lot of activities in the church, not because they're busy in the youth, not because, no. It's because they read the Bible. It's because they have a fellowship with the Word. It is not because they're busy in church. It's not because, they do a lot of things for the pastor. It's because they read the Word. That's very important. You know why I'm very passionate about this? Because we are losing a lot of children in suicide. But God has given us the key, my goodness. God has given us the key. We do petitions now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we can ask or imagine. Listen to me. Your prayer life involves your thought pattern. Your prayer life and your relationship with Jesus Christ involves your imagination. You see, maybe the reason why we are not getting our prayers answered because our imagination is not in sync with what we are asking. Him who is able to immeasurably more than what you can ask or imagine. He is going to, according to the power that is working within us, He's saying to us, there's not a single thing that you're going to ask me. What you're asking me is affecting your heart, affecting your brain, it's synchronized with all your imagination. You guarantee that I can do above and beyond what you ask or imagine. You see, our thought patterns is very important. That's why our children are being attacked today. Because sometimes our prayer life cannot reach the ceiling because our thoughts are in opposition. They're watching too much gadget, they're watching too much TV, they're playing too much with their thumbs about all this nonsense. I'm telling you, you know what, we are so set up, very set up for the 666 set up. Because we are watching, I'm telling you, I'm even upset when I have a rule in my house, when we have dinner, I am telling you, you keep your phone away from the dining room table. Very important. It is very rude for us to even use our phones in church. Please. We are not the king. We are not important, dignitaries that the world will stop if we cannot use our phones. We need to not even bring our phones, leave it in the church, in the car. This is so important. Our children, listen to me, need a lot of the suicide today, a lot of wondering, is because our children have more time on their gadgets and their electronics than they are talking to a real person. I'm telling you, they need to be curtailed with how many hours they use. When my kids, I am watching my grandchildren, I always have a rule. I don't want any iPad in my house. I want to spend time with my grandchildren. I don't want to have any iPad. And if they're going to watch TV, after they have taken a bath for a few minutes before their dad picks them up, yes, but they're not going to watch TV the whole time they're here. If they want to watch TV, then they stay home. Because I don't want to entertain people and have a competition with a machine. Like him. I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies as living sacrifice. You see, this is not just talking from our mouth. This is not just showing people that we're Christian. God says our body is going to be disciplined by us. And if we cannot do it, God says you need to put your body as a living sacrifice for Him. In other words, if your body doesn't want to sleep because you need to go rest. You need to have exercise. You need to clean your house. You need to take a bath. My goodness, children who are depressed, one of the things that you notice from them is they are not going to take care of their personal hygiene. They dress so, sloppy, Our house is upside down. The room is messy. That's why you need to intervene. Because, an upside down room is going to be, a workplace for the devil. I know I'm very strict with that, but you know what? Look at this. Your body is as a living sacrifice. It's holy, it's acceptable, and it's reasonable. God isn't asking too much from us. If our bodies are going to be disciplined, if we are going to exercise, if we're going to go on a diet, if we're going to take a bath, clean a room, that is not unreasonable. And don't conform to this world. There it is. But be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That you may prove. You see, our children who doesn't have a goal, doesn't have a future, you see, they don't know what is acceptable, perfect will of God in their life, and that it is good for them. It's because they are not putting their body part on. You see, kawawa siya, that's what we do. Kawawa siya. So everybody is encouraging everybody to be kawawa, but you know what, we are for their life. We need to fight. We need to make sure that our children get out of bed. Oh, depressed ang anak ko, babayaan mo na lang yan. What? You see, you are putting your child into a danger of suicide. They cannot just be there in the room. No, they need to. That's why sometimes it helps, to put the kids in a camp. They work, they're trained to wake up early, because you know what it is? It's structure. A lot of the children snap out of their depression when there is a structure, because the Bible is already ahead of us. Your body has to be presented as a living sacrifice. It's reasonable. Asking is reasonable. It's not too much. And they will know God's will for them. 1 Peter chapter 1. Next, therefore, with minds that are alert. You see, our minds has to be alert all the time. Fully sober. Set your hope on the grace to be brought to you. In other words, there is grace and there is hope. Very important. It's not just enough for us to keep saying grace. Grace really is not just a passive. It is the power of God. You see, that is made perfect in your weakness. That's what grace is. Grace is like an atomic bomb that God releases when you say that, Lord, I am weak. And God releases all His ammunition. His arsenal is open for you and me. When we say, Lord, I am so weak, I am depressed, I am lonely. And I'm telling you, let our children be taught that they can call on God, that they are weak and they're lonely and they're confused. And teach them to call on grace. Teach them to say, grace, I need you. God says, my grace is sufficient for you, for it is, you see, it is perfected. His power is perfected in your weaknesses. Our children should not be ashamed to say and to say to their God, God, I am so lonely, God, I am so confused. I ask for your grace. Teach our children how to call for grace, and we ourselves have to ask for grace. You gird up your lives. In other words, there you have that responsibility to tighten your command post of your brain. And, it says, gird up the lines of your mind. Be sober and hope to the end. Hope. A lot of people are talking about faith all the time. And it's true, we should have faith. We should talk about faith. But faith is for tomorrow. Hope is for tomorrow. Faith is for today. Our children who are losing their lives is because there is no hope. But the hope is the helmet of our salvation. Hope is the anchor of your soul in the book of Hebrews. You see, I can talk to you for weeks about this, but you guys research this. In the book of Hebrews, it says, the anchor of our soul, you see, in the Holy of Holies is our salvation. And the helmet of salvation is our hope. This is so important. We need to teach our children that there is hope for tomorrow. Faith is today, yes. And sometimes we can borrow somebody's faith, the faith of a friend. But we cannot borrow somebody's hope. We need to have hope for ourselves for tomorrow. Or we are going to have this, this depression and this suicide and everything. Because hope and faith has to go together. A lot of people don't teach that. But hope is the one that is going to hope for you tomorrow. Your faith is today. You can borrow faith from your friend, but you cannot borrow hope from your friend. It has to be your own. Your faith, you can grow. You will grow that. But there are times that you cannot have faith because, you don't know what to do. That's fine. It's okay. And God understands that. So you ask your friends, can you pray for me? Yes, I can coattail your faith. But hope, you cannot borrow hope. You need to have hope for yourself. And your hope is connected to your salvation. Your hope is connected to Jesus Christ. And your hope is always going to say that He has a plan for you and a future for you. Okay? So when you gird up your mind to the end, hope to the end, and there's always grace involved in it. I wish I could talk to you about longer than this, but this is, I talk about grace longer than this, but anyway, let's go to next slide, Philippians chapter 4. We're now going closing, we only have a few more slides. Therefore, finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report. If there is any virtue, if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. Anything that is not that in that category, you are disobeying the Lord and you are in rebellion against His thought. God is saying, whatsoever things are true. What is true? There are facts. God says, He didn't say facts. Yes, the fact says that you don't have money. The fact says that you are sick, but that's not true. The truth is the only one that's going to set you free. That's why the Bible says, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are noble, royalty. And what are the language of royalty? The language of heaven and earth. Heaven and earth speak day and night. And there's not a language where they are not heard. So we need to join the conversation. What is the language? It's the voice, it's the vibration of the God who said like me. And like what? That's important. Whatever things are just. You know what, listen to me. There is no, you cannot have peace without justice. You understand? A lot of people say, oh, pabayaan mo na lang yan na. Pabayaan mo na lang yan, kalimutan mo lang yan. That's not good. We are teaching our children kalimutan mo lang. They cannot do it. Because you know what? If there was injustice done, there is no, and it is not resolved, there is no peace. Now, but you see, thank God that the God who is just, you see, paid the penalty of sin. But yes, he paid the penalty of sin. But that sin has to be addressed. Mom, my friend bullied me. Well, pabayaan mo na lang yan, iho. You understand me? No, okay, let's go talk to your friend. But after you talk to your friend, you need to understand that Jesus already, it is wrong, injustice has been done, but you know what? God paid the price for it. So can you allow Jesus to pay the price for your friend? You see? But we need to address that there was a situation that was injustice, so peace can be there. A lot of kids don't have peace because you know what? We're so used in, oh, you're a Christian, you'll be forgiving. I mean, come on. God knows everything. And you know what he asked Adam? Adam, where are you? Do you think God didn't know that where Adam was? God knew. God knew that he had just committed high treason against him. But it is important that there was an injustice, a high treason that was done against him, against God, that has to confess it. We need to confess it to the blood sacrifice can be poured. You know, this is where it is. That's why a lot of us who goes home, or a lot of Christians who goes home, na meron silang sakit ang puso nila, they have a hurt, broken heart. It's because their husband just insulted them among their friends. And we Christianos ka, forgive ka. That is wrong process, especially if you guys are going to be, counseling. I mean, that is not right. You need to address it. Okay, what did your dad say? What did your dad do? What did your friend do? Then you will discuss that. You acknowledge that happened. You acknowledge that that he's hurt because of that. And then you know what? If the situation cannot be because the father is not ready to talk or whatever, but you need to address that to the finished work of Calvary. You're going to agree, yes, you've been offended, yes, you've been hurt. I agree with you. God knows that you're broken. But right now we're going to put it in a bottle. We're going to ask the Lord to forgive your father or whatever. And then, but we are going to believe that one day God is going to bring this out. But you yourself right now need to be healed. Because Jesus paid. You see, justice has been paid. So peace can come. I hope that makes sense to you. But it says, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are noble, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatever things are lovely. In other words, if a child is depressed, you cannot let him stay in a room that's not lovely. You cannot, the wrong place for a woman who is depressed is to come home to a messy house. I'm telling you, I don't care what anybody says, but your body, your soul, and your spirit has to synchronize to have sound mind. Very important. So, lovely. Whatever things are good report. Do something with your environment. Good report, guys. Good report. Do not go into gossip. If there's any virtue, if there's anything that's praiseworthy, that's meditate on this thing. In other words, God says, anything that is worth more than a second of your thought patterns to entertain, it has to be in this category. Yes, you can listen to some other things, because you cannot help, in life there's always some, bad news. But what God says, don't dwell on it. What you meditate on is in this Philippians chapter 4. On 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God, in the pulling down of strongholds. The weapons of our God is not talking about physical things here. Of course, a lot of our sickness are connected with spiritual things. But let's just talk right now about, yes, you can take medication, but God is talking to you about this warfare that we're going through. It's really not worldly. It's not what you think, what you use as the world uses. This is spiritual. God is saying, but you need to pull down strongholds. And how do you pull down strongholds? By casting down your argument. That argument is another translation here that I'll tell you. It says, contrary, it says here that argument, any pretension. In other words, you're pretending to be happy, you're pretending that you like your pastor, but you are, talking behind his back. Come on, you guys, this is very important. It says here, when you are, talking to somebody, let guys you can ask. It is like me as a nurse going into a room with no mask, no gown, no gloves. And I am open for contamination of any germ in the room. If you have any of those arguments or pretension or any thoughts that is higher than the truth of God, you are open for infection of any stronghold of demonic infestation. That's why our children we have to have a healthy conversation. It says pulling down the stronghold, casting down arguments, every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing every thought into captivity. Guys, we need to put these thought patterns into a cage, into prison, and throw away the key so you cannot come out. That is important. And I think, and being ready to punish all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. There is a conclusion to this whole situation. You obey. Complete your obedience. Let them complete their obedience. So this whole thing can be locked and sealed. You see, in another translation in the NIV, that it's not weapons of the world. Contrary, they have a divine power to demolish strongholds. What are those arguments, pretension that sets itself higher than the knowledge of God? This is important. Whatever we are thinking, whatever we think, I'm telling you that it's not in agreement with the Word of God, and if we do not repent from that, we are saying to God, God, I am better than you, wiser than you, knowledgeable than you, and I overrule your promise in my life. Because right now, there is a thought in my heart and in my mind, tama ako, and what I'm feeling is tama. So ngayon, I am now giving you notice that all of your promise to me is null and void. That's really what happened. Honor. I want to let you know first, all of you, I don't see you, but I really love all of you. I'm telling you, we have been praying for the Philippines. I value you. When Josie, gave this suggestion to me, I was excited about it. I didn't know how God was going to do it, but the Lord put it together. I've been talking in conference. We have leadership convergence from different leaders of the world. Diwa, what is his name? The Deputy Governor General of the Bangkok in Diwa and his wife was there at the conference. So there's a lot. Then we have some leaders from Africa, some newly crowned king in Africa came. So we're really very busy. But you know what, in my heart is Lord, but there are also valuable people that I'm going to be talking tonight. And I ask you to, help me what I'm going to do. The Lord gave me these scriptures while I was attending in the conference. And I do believe that it is coming from the Lord to you. And so tonight, after I'm babysitting with my grandchildren, the Lord gave me a few times to put it together. And these are new to me. I've not taught this yet in this pattern. But when I told Joe, she said yes. When she told me, we had a conference on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. In fact, Friday is the last day. I did not go this Friday because I'm taking care of the grandchildren. But you are important people. I have sat down with with leaders from different parts of the world. But you are very important. I value you and I honor you. There has to be something in our heart, that always value. See, honor, as I always say to you, is a seed you plant to reap favor, and favor will open the doors for you. People of value giving value because value has been invested into them. In other words, the valuable gift of all, the God who has all the treasures of the world, has breathed into us, given to us His Son. And because He has valued us, we, people of value, can always give value to people. We care for people. That's why people get depressed, get offended, because our actions. And if you guys, I'm telling you, I want to let you know I love you. Whether you guys are going to be connected with me in the business or in ministry or not, there is a value that the Lord has put in my heart for you. And so I would like to let you know that I'm going to close with this in Romans chapter 12. Be kindly affectionate. You see, tender, affectionate to one another with brotherly love. This is where the commandment says, love your neighbor as yourself. in honor, giving preference to one another. So I'd like to just let you know, and I'm going to close with that, if we are going to give that value to our children, value to one another, we are going to have people who's going to be less depressed, people who's not going to, we're going to help them from their suicide or from feeling that they are not, they don't have anything worth living for. So we pray that each one of us will be sensitive to each other. And I love you guys. I thank God for you.